Hi, I'm Ross Barefoot with the Search Engine Academy, and I'm also the lead SEO strategist at Horizon Web Marketing. And I'm here today just to cut a real quick video to talk to you about better tracking for your Google Ads campaigns. Now, most people who are running Google Ads know that one of the most important ways to make them succeed is to have enough data as to which of your ads, your campaigns, have worked and have generated business for you and which haven't. That's usually pretty easy to do if you have people go to your website and submit, let's say, a form. You can track that as a conversion. But what a lot of basic advertisers don't realize is that leaves a big hole in your knowledge, and that is, what about those people that went to your website, or even from within the ad itself, decided to give you a call instead? There is a way to be able to track those, and it involves using something called call tracking and dynamic number insertion. I'm going to explain this very quickly, so I hope that you'll be able to follow it. Let's get right into it so we take as little time as possible. In order to do this, I want to start by talking just very quickly about phone numbers. Phone numbers specifically in terms of Google search results. And I'm going to use Quicken as my example, Quicken Loans, because they're a major company and they're a sophisticated advertiser. I've done a search here to find their phone number, Quicken Loans phone number. I'm getting some Quicken Loans ads. And then down here, Google will do basically a featured snippet where they're going to show what they think is the primary phone number that you're looking for. And in this case, it's Quicken Loans Rocket's customer service number. Now up here you can see this is called the knowledge panel. You can see that number appears also up here, and so Quicken Loans is using that number officially. But they're a huge company and they do have different phone numbers. Down here this is a phone number from their contact page. All of these though are permanent Quicken numbers, and what I mean by permanent is if you take one of these numbers, let's take this one as an example here, and if I go over and do a quick Google search in my incognito window, I do a search there and notice it'll right at the top it'll bring up Quicken Loans. In other words, Google knows that's an official Quicken phone number. They'll do the same thing if I go back to that result. I go up here to the number that Google gave me as their customer service number. Let me plug that one in, do a search, and here again, although there's an ad, the #1 search result is also Quicken Loans. And typically you can do this for your business as well. For example, if I take, let me take a number here that's a bit closer to home, much smaller company, and this phone number, if I Google it, it'll tell me right there, okay, it's for the Search Engine Academy. All right, so enough said about that. You can see that Google pretty much knows what's the match between a phone number and a company, right? Let me go over and do a different kind of a search. Actually, I already did it. It's a search, contact a mortgage broker. And there, one of the first results here is Quicken Loans, but this is an ad, and it's an ad, and notice there's a phone number here. If I was on my mobile device, I could tap on that phone number, or I can just take my phone right now and dial it in, and it will go through to wherever Quicken Loans wants it to go through to. But what if I do a search on this phone number? Let's take a quick moment and do the same thing we did with those other three numbers. Here I've pasted the phone number in. Let me go ahead and hit enter. But no Quicken. Nowhere on the search results do I see Quicken tied to that. Instead, I see a bunch of garbage results, basically that tell me Google really doesn't know what to do with that phone number. Now, what if I go back to my ads and I click on this ad instead of calling right from the search results? It takes me to this page, a really good, clean landing page that has been designed specifically for this ad. Now if I take this phone number, which is yet another phone number, but let me go back here and plug it in, and here again, there is no relationship between this phone number and Quicken. Well, why is that? The reason is because those phone numbers are temporary. They're typically created on the fly in a manner that's called dynamic. So for example, on this Quicken page, when you come to this page, the programming is creating a dynamic number, and this is called dynamic number insertion, and it's placing it into the page. And if I were a different searcher, I would see a different phone number. The way this is accomplished is by partnering with a call tracking service such as CallRail or WordStream. There's a number of different call tracking services where you can sign up and basically they have a little bit of code that you place on your page. It's not at all difficult, and that code will recognize when the page has been, the visitor has come to the page from a Google ad, and it'll put in a special phone number. Now, here's what you can do once you have that set up. You can go and generate a call log. This is a WordStream call log, and I have obscured some of the columns just for privacy reasons. Now I can go to this call log and I see a particular phone call was made on September 2nd at a particular time, the number that it came from. I can see what was the keyword that the person searched on. So in this case, they searched on a combination of keywords. It'll even put the little plus in here that indicates the match type that was used to set up the keyword in Google Ads. And if you're familiar with Google Ads, you know a little bit about what I'm talking about. It'll then tell me whether the keyword actually converted. And this has to do with how long the call lasts. So for example, we've set this up so that if the call is less than 30 seconds long, it's not a conversion. If it's more than 30 seconds long, it is a conversion. Then it will tell me what was the ad campaign that generated all these calls. And within that campaign, what was the ad group? If you do Google Ads, you can see how effective this is at being able to determine which of your ad campaigns are working and which ones are not. And more importantly, too, you're able to tell what your costs have been. If your costs have been centered in an ad campaign that's not generating any phone calls or any form submissions, then it means you're wasting your money. On the other hand, perhaps you had an ad campaign where you see nobody submit your contact form, and you think that ad campaign is not working. But then you go to your call logs and you see, well, for this particular campaign, people were far more likely to call than to submit a form. That's all I have to show you, and it's only to give you an idea about the what dynamic number insertion is, what call tracking is, and how you can use it to really apply that sophisticated level of data to your own ads campaign. Don't be intimidated by it. It's not that difficult to set up. Again, you should really partner with a third-party organization. I recommend not using Google's phone numbers because you can do something like this with Google, but they typically won't give you as much data as a service like WordStream or CallRail. And I just use those two because we've used both of those services in our agency. And both are very effective at generating this kind of information. I hope that has been useful to you. If it has been, please give us a like and a subscribe down below. And go out and make your ads campaigns as sophisticated as Quicken Loans.